Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday night chat. I'm Kelly Wilkins from My Self-Reliance, and this is our third to last Tuesday night call for the year. So very exciting. We're not essentially winding down, we're winding up to our big finish on the last Tuesday of the month. So what do we have tonight? We have the beautiful Elina, who's going to share with us all about sleep. Welcome, Elina.
Hi, thanks, Kelly. Excited to be here.
So good to have you here. And then next week we have Cameron Maxwell, who's going to share with us all about Orgonite. Now, those who came to the festival might have met Cameron at the festival, and he was so popular there, I thought I'd invite him back to actually come on and share all about what is Orgonite, because it's such a growing sensation. And then on the last Tuesday of the month, I will be sharing a really great, we're going to do an exercise and a look back over the year, and we're going to not just look back at what My Self-Reliance has done over the year, but look back at your own year. We want to end 2023 on a high, send you into the fun Christmas season with all those beautiful expectations and none of the fear that comes with, oh my gosh, it's the end of the year and so much to do and Christmas and all of that. And also no regrets for 2023, so that you can complete the year powerfully and move into 2024 really well set up and really ready to hit the ground running in 2024. Even though you might be relaxing and holidaying, I just want to set yourself up for, doing that mind shift that sometimes we need to take ourselves through as we finish up one year and head into the next. And as I finish up this year, we actually are packing up the house and moving as we speak. So there's a whole bunch of boxes that you can't see behind me. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to finish up the year big, and then so that's why we're finishing a little bit early this year, because then I have to focus on where we're going to live next. And if anyone read my email, I send out an email once a week. If you're not on my email list, feel free to send me a message in the chat. You can send me your email address and I will pop you on my email list, and then you'll get the notifications and the recordings as they drop. And I only send out one email a week, so you don't get too bombarded from me. And so without further ado, I want to introduce you all to our beautiful Elina, who we met just only about a month or two ago.
Yeah.
And we were exploring some new horizons together with the people's economy, and we just clicked, and I thought, Elina's been up to some big things in the freedom community herself. So maybe you want to share with us a little bit before you roll into your actual presentation, Elina, kind of what you've been up to the last year and a half. Do we want to go there?
Well, look, I'm like a lot of people that I juggle what I do full time with also helping to support other people with their human rights and civil liberties and all of that kind of thing. And that's changed and grown with time. But I guess in terms of my full-time capacity, what I've definitely noticed is with sleep, a lot of people's sleep has gone downhill in the last few years. I mean, there have been a lot of stresses, and differences of opinion in how society should be run, all those kinds of things. So definitely it's affected people's sleep, as stress does. And, in these more recent times, now, of course, we've got inflation, rising interest rates, all of these extra pressures that people have. So I'll stick more to the sleep topic tonight.
Yes.
What I will say is it's really important, like, everyone who is working in service of others to support this movement, it's really important they look after themselves, and sleep is such a big part of that. So
100%. Thank you
really
so much for coming in and sharing with us about it.
Yeah, it's really important that everyone looks after themselves during these times. So I guess I'll jump into it. Is that all right, Kelly?
Yeah.
But tonight I'm planning on speaking to you about how to get a great night's sleep, and in particular, having a look at like why sleep is important to us. Why do we need it? And also busting some of the biggest myths about sleep, because this is one thing I find stops people getting good sleep. The mistruths that people are told about sleep. So just clearing some of those up. Then looking at what do we actually need to get a good night's sleep? How do you fall asleep faster? How do you sleep through the night? Some really important things. So, and just to give you a little bit about a bit of my background, I got into this field because I had chronic, and I mean chronic insomnia at one point. I couldn't sleep at all. And I used to work in the corporate world and shifted over to, I basically left my work and studied anything and everything that would help me with my sleep. So it absolutely destroyed my life at the time. And that's why now I'm so passionate about helping other people with their sleep, because it's so devastating to people's lives. So I'm very lucky now with what I do. I get to see people's lives transform every single day. So it's beautiful. So over to the audience, or to everyone here tonight, I just want to find out a bit more about what you'd like to hear about. Do you have trouble falling asleep? Do you wake up during the night and you'd like to be able to sleep through the night? Are you tired in the morning? What is it is anyone happy to share what their situation is and what they'd like to find out more about? Can I call them?
Feel free to come off mute.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go for it.
I've always been a really good sleeper, and even during having 4 kids, would wake easily and go back to sleep easily. But just over the last, I don't know, few years, there is no kid hassles anymore, nobody waking me up, but I will go to sleep easily, but I find I wake in the night. And I can usually go back to sleep easily, but I'll still keep go to sleep. I've got my techniques to get myself back to sleep.
Okay.
But yeah, it's more the waking and not getting that solid sleep. And I've got to, I guess the older women in my life, mothers and mother-in-laws and grandmothers, have always been shocking sleepers. So I don't want to head down that path.
Okay, so it's in the family. I hear this a lot.
The patterns, yeah, but it doesn't need to be that way. I know that I'm a different person, but yeah, I just find that an interesting thing. I'm wondering about that pattern thing or hereditary thing as well. But it's mainly the waking in the night and not going from sleep to it's morning time.
Yeah, beautiful.
Hey.
I can relate to that too, Maria. And I wonder if it maybe not being so hereditary, if it's just age. You get to a certain age and then.
Oh, come on. Nothing to disempower people. Honestly, it doesn't matter how old you are, and it doesn't matter what's in your family. Everybody can sleep well. And it may get harder with age, but that's only because we become more deeply entrenched in certain patterns. So it's not actually because we're getting older. So I
actually know a 90-year-old who can go to bed around 8 o'clock at night and wake up at 6 in the morning, sleep right through.
Exactly. There you go.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
You'll find out during the session tonight why that is.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah. Anyone else? So waking up during the night. And what was your name? Sorry, who just shared that?
Maria.
Maria.
Oh, was it Gabriel or Gabriel?
No, Maria shared about how she was waking up. Yeah. But I just shared about the 90-year-old. Yeah, I'm happy to share if you want somebody else to share. Yeah, so I understand the importance of sleep, and a little while ago I got into a really good night routine because I'm up very early in the morning. So to do that, I had to start getting my night and get a clean sleep. So falling asleep is not too hard for me these days. I have a very full day, so I'm tired and ready to sleep. I've woken during the night for, I'm 57, I reckon like 30 plus years. I get up at least once to go to the loo. Just what I do. I drink a lot of water. That's what happens for me. And sometimes it can be twice. And if I don't, sometimes I dream about going to the toilet. I have to go to the toilet because I'm scared I'm going to wet the bed. So I get up. But that's, to me, I've accepted that. That's normal. That's what I do. I don't have a big issue with it. And even though that happens, I can wake up pretty fresh in the morning if I've had a decent amount of sleep. So, and a deep sleep. So it doesn't seem to bother me. However, I'm a nurse and I understand that waking at night's not always great for you. It would be nice to get 6 hours straight, to be honest. But I do drink a little bit before I go to bed. I have a sleepy time tea, I have a protein drink, and I have some magnesium. So there's a whole lot of fluid I have anyway. And I've accepted that. But listening to, I'd be curious to know is it something I should accept?
Yeah. Can you remind me at the end, can you ask a question about fluids? I don't specifically have that in the talk tonight, but I really want to speak to that. If I forget, please.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Gabrielle. Anyone else? Can you just maybe raise a hand? Do you have trouble falling asleep? I can't see everyone on my screen. How do we hang on? Maybe Kelly, can you just tell me, because I can't change my screen now, how many people?
I can't see people either. Let me change the view, the gallery. How about that? Now
no one's got their hand up at the minute.
And how many people struggle staying asleep? Yeah. Okay, 2. Is it just 2? I can't see everyone.
Yeah, just 2 people put their hand up.
3. 3.
Do we have a 4?
George 4 and Andrew 5.
So staying asleep is a bigger issue than falling asleep. Very interesting. Okay. Any other issues that I haven't covered? Tired in the morning? Anyone raise their hand for that one? I think George has still got his hand up. Okay. Again, I can't see everyone, but all right. So it's mainly
Elina said yes.
Okay. All right. So a bit of all of those things. Okay. So why is thanks for sharing that, everyone. So why is sleep so important? It is our healing time, right? So that's the time that we regenerate and everything in our body renews and we heal. And we regenerate, detoxify, and heal on all levels: physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, and spiritually. So during the night, all of our cells heal and our organs, they will detoxify and regenerate. Our brain mentally will detoxify and regenerate. And then, our memory consolidates from short-term to long-term, and the different parts of the brain connect during the nighttime, because it's a chance that we have for our left and right hemispheres to integrate. We heal emotionally. So, you might go to bed and you're in a crappy mood, and then you wake up and you're feeling much better. We heal energetically. So what I mean by that is we wake up with a lot more energy, hopefully, if we've had a good sleep. And I won't touch on it now, but I would dare to say we also heal spiritually, depending on your belief system, where we go when we're asleep. That can be debated, but I would say that we also heal spiritually. Tap into source energy, perhaps. First of all, it's really important to start to understand what myths are out there that just simply aren't true around sleep. So one thing is, people say, to get a better night's sleep, you need to follow all the sleep rules. Go to bed at the same time every night. Don't drink coffee. Make sure you've got a clean bed sheets. Make sure your bedroom's tidy. Drink chamomile tea. These kind of rules. And whilst these things can help sleep, they're not actually the most important thing about sleep. And in fact, sometimes when people, and I have this a lot, clients will come to me in the beginning, they're following these strict sleep rules, and actually it's creating even more stress for them. So they're sleeping worse. So if something stresses you, a sleep rule, don't follow it. Like, for example, watching, TV is bad for sleep. You'll often hear that one. And it's not true. What is true is the blue light from the television or, your screen will impact your sleep. Also, if you're watching something that's adrenaline producing, that will affect your sleep. But if you're watching something that's relaxing or, helps you to wind down, it's fine. So these blanket rules often don't help us. People can not watch television and then they go to bed, their mind's racing. And, sometimes television helps people to turn their minds off. So it's not that black and white. A few other myths around sleep. And so the same goes for phones as well. So as long as you're blocking out the blue light on your device and you're not doing anything that's stimulating, you're only doing things that relax you. You could be listening to relaxing music. You could be watching a relaxing show. Then it's fine. You must block out the blue light. If you don't know how to do that, ask me at the end. People also believe I have to live with poor sleep. So we had the thing about, oh, it's in my family. So it's not true that you have to live with poor sleep. It's very rarely is it true that it's hereditary. It's usually that we will copy patterns. They may be stress patterns or habits in the family that then result in poor sleep. So it's more that we're emulating those patterns from family members, you know, our mums or dads or grandparents. Some people will say, get out of bed if you're not sleeping well. Again, that's another one of those myths. It's what's really important is to find something that relaxes you. So if you're stressing in bed, yeah, then maybe you could get out of bed, but really it's important to learn how to relax yourself in bed. That's really what's important. Now, what sits behind most of this is, or behind the untrue myths around sleep, is that the activity, that's the second point there, the activity 1 hour before bed is what determines the quality of our sleep. So often I have people saying, oh, I do this wrong, I do that wrong, I watch TV, or I work until bedtime. Those things, sure, they may affect your sleep, but actually what determines the quality of our sleep is actually the quality of our day. So please don't be fooled by that myth that it's just that wind down hour before bed that determines the quality of your sleep. It's not true. That's such a small part of it. So it is, I hate to say this, your entire day from the moment you wake up. Now, especially it's the quality of your thoughts and the quality of your physical and emotional state. And I'll explain this a little bit more as we go. So why? Our autonomic nervous system is the main thing that governs the quality of our sleep, the ease of our sleep. If you don't know what autonomic nervous system is, it's basically the nervous system that happens automatically. So for example, our heart beats automatically. There are different functions in the nervous system that happen automatically. That's your autonomic nervous system. And there's 2 main branches. You might know this, the sympathetic, which is the stress response or the fight and flight response, and the parasympathetic, which is our rest and digest functions. So often people that don't sleep well, not always, but often can also have digestive issues because it's on the same branch of the autonomic nervous system. So really what affects our sleep is anything that affects our autonomic nervous system. So it's really important to bring our nervous system into balance. Now, I'll explain a bit more about that. Okay, so the main key to a great night's sleep is having a well-balanced nervous system. You'll get an example of that soon. You'll actually be able to experience it for yourself. Also, the way you think, because that affects our nervous system. So understanding your mind and the types of thoughts that you have that affect your nervous system are really important. Again, we'll go through some examples of this. Having emotional balance will affect your sleep. So for example, if you're angry or upset, you typically won't sleep as well as if you're happy and relaxed, right? We know this. A healthy sleep mindset is really important to good sleep. So if you have a belief, I'm not going to sleep well tonight, or I won't sleep well in general because I come from a family of bad sleepers, then of course that will affect your sleep. So your sleep mindset is also really important. And having effective sleep strategies to be able to fall asleep on those difficult nights. I think it was Gabrielle, you said you've got some strategies to go back to sleep. So having some effective strategies is really important. Knowing how to get into a slow brainwave state is important. And also just having healthy lifestyle is important. So they're the keys. Like if you're going to look at what are the fundamentals that create a good night's sleep, those 7 areas are the most important elements to a good night's sleep. It's very different to what you hear in the media, isn't it? Mm. Okay, we spent a lot of time busting the myths of things that we hear in the media. So, okay. So now, when I was talking about the nervous system, what am I talking about? So stress and anxiety are the biggest factors that affect sleep. And you might think, well, I'm not stressed. So we'll get to that in just a minute, just to check whether or not you really are. But because often people are more stressed than what they realize. So we'll do a test in a minute just so you can actually experience, well, am I stressed or not normally? And we want to bring the nervous system into balance. So reduce stress, reduce anxiety. And actually anxiety is a huge issue today. I would say 2/3 of my clients get quite bad anxiety, and that has a huge impact on sleep. So If you do struggle with anxiety, it's really important to learn how to reduce your anxiety to get a better night's sleep. And that includes anxiety around sleep. So how do you know if your nervous system is in balance or not? So there's certain signs of where our nervous system is at. So understanding what your breathing is doing, that will tell you. Your posture, your muscle tension, your heart rate, whether you grind your teeth or not, how dilated are your pupils? How much do you salivate? What's your digestion like? Urination. So that topic of going to the bathroom during the night, we'll talk about that as well. All of these are indications of how in balance or out of balance your nervous system is. So we'll do a test right now. So everyone, I wonder if I can, all right. So just if you're all willing to, what I'd really invite you to do right now is to just stop and notice your breathing. Don't change it, just observe it. So right now, if you place a hand on your, here, I'll do it, on your chest and on your belly, just notice where you're breathing into. Are you breathing more into your upper chest, or are you breathing more into your belly? And just be really honest with yourself, because people often kind of go belly, but I can see their hand on their chest moving. So just be really honest with yourself. And also, are you taking deep breaths, or are they shallow? And are they fast breaths, or are they slow, low, deep inhales and exhales? So really check in with that. It's so fascinating how people change their breathing as soon as I ask them to do this little experiment. So Kelly, is it okay if people unmute again? I'd just like to hear people's feedback about what you noticed when you checked in with your breathing.
Well, I was sitting here quite calmly until you said, don't pay attention to your breathing. And of course, that's what I did. So, and then I thought, oh, I'm taking deeper breaths because you mentioned it. But I did feel I was breathing from my belly, which I was a little bit surprised about. So there was some movement in the chest, but mostly it was the belly. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. Good. Anyone else?
It was a mix for me.
Yeah.
Some chest and some belly, and I wouldn't say tend to be a little bit shallow breath, a little bit faster.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. And most people that don't sleep well you'll find they are breathing more from the upper chest, or they hold their breath. Okay. So these are signs of the nervous system being a bit more wired. And of course, if we're more of that fight or flight mode, we're less likely to sleep. So really, we sleep better when we're more relaxed. And one of the signs of that is we're breathing slower from the belly area. Yeah. So it's not that your breathing determines your sleep. Your breathing is a sign of how in balance or out of balance your nervous system is. Okay. Anyone else want to share?
Yes, I'd like to say something. I was holding my breath a little bit and breathing into the upper chest.
Yeah. How do you sleep?
Sometimes I have a good sleep, but then sometimes I do get up 1 or 2 times during the night.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I just encourage everyone during the day to check in and be really honest with yourself. What is happening with your breathing? And if it's more from the upper chest, or if you're holding your breath, it is a sign that it's important to start to work on your autonomic nervous system. Yeah. And bring your nervous system into balance. And I'll explain more how you do that. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. It's quite surprising when people really check in, they can be surprised what they find. So another question for you all, what do you notice about your posture? So right now, if you check in, and often when I ask people this, they suddenly sit up straight. So you might notice, did you just do that? What was your posture like before I asked the question? Because why do I ask this? So when we go into fight or flight, we sort of go into that more curled over position, right? If you imagine if you're in danger, you try to protect your vital organs. So you go into more of that curled over position. So in the little picture there, there's, the lady with who's a bit more hunched over, which is more of the fight flight posture, and up straight is more of a secure, safe, relaxed posture. Now, often people will also go into that ball type position in bed. And usually it's people who struggle with having a sense of safety. They don't feel safe if they're open and exposed. So you might just check in if your posture is a bit curved. Sure, it can be that you work at the computer, but often it's also what we're not told is that it's us going into fight or flight. So just check in with yourself around that. And then the last thing I would, anyone want to share what they noticed about their posture? No. Or just observe it for yourself. And then the last one is muscle tension. So if you just do a scan of your body, just notice, do you hold much tension in your body? So if you can roll your shoulders now, just feel, does that feel different? Do your shoulders loosen up? If you move your back, can you kind of tell, okay, yeah, you hold tension in there. What do you notice? Do you notice that you hold muscle tension? Because this is another sign of stress, right? So the reason I'm going through these things is the biggest thing that people say is they're not stressed when actually they are. And what happens is the body does not lie to us, right? So what I mean by that is not that anyone will consciously lie, but you may think that you're not stressed when actually there is stress in your system. And we know it if the breathing is high and fast, or there's holding in the breath. We know it when the posture's curved over, and we know it when there's tension in the muscle. These are all signs of stress or anxiety, and being in what we call a sympathetic dominant mode. And when we're in that mode, it really affects our sleep. So does that resonate with everyone? Good. So I really want you to check in with yourself, because this is actually the biggest thing that affects sleep is our nervous system being out of balance. And you might think, well, how do I fix my nervous system? What do I do? And you can stop and you can slow down your breathing, and you can open your posture, and you can relax your muscles. But actually, as well, the mind is a huge thing that affects our nervous system. So maybe raise your hand if sometimes you just can't switch off your busy mind. Yeah. It's huge today. People say, yeah, if only I could find that off switch. And also some people say, the other extreme I get is people say, no, I don't think anything. And then when they actually stop and watch, for example, a night where they're not sleeping, they'll realize, oh, actually, I have a lot of thoughts, when they actually stop to observe it, because we think so automatically that, again, often we don't notice it. And in particular, we're a little bit like robots. We think we have certain thought patterns that repeat over and over and over again. And we'll go through some examples of what they are. So our thoughts affect our sleep. And especially if you're thinking, I might not sleep tonight, that is definitely going to affect your sleep as well. So here are examples of the most common patterns of thinking that really affect people's sleep, because it puts them into fight or flight. So, for example, people may think about things that may go wrong. Do you ever think about things that may go wrong? Do you lie there in bed and think about, what if this happens? What if this person does this? What if this person thought this about me? Those kinds of thoughts. Or so external versus internal reference is when you think a lot about what other people say or think or believe, as opposed to what your perspective is. If you spend a lot of time thinking about, well, this person thinks this about me, or they said this, I'm worried they may feel this. So that's another pattern of thinking, really focusing on other people. Options is when we think about all the things that we have to do the next day, or, all the different possibilities, rather than just the one next thing. So that can cause overwhelm and stress. Another very common pattern of thinking for people that don't sleep well is they think a lot about the future. All the things that may happen in the future, usually the bad things that will happen in the future that may happen. And another one is judging people or places or yourself. So these are all patterns of thinking that can create stress. And people don't realize that they're doing this. Now, why is this important? We'll do an exercise right now. I really want you to understand how important what happens in the mind is to your body and your sleep. So I'm going to invite you all to just close your eyes for a couple of minutes. I'm going to run through a scenario with you. And I want you to notice what happens in your body so that you can really start to understand how your mind and your thoughts affect what's happening in your body and your nervous system. Okay, so if you can close your eyes right now, and I'm just going to run through an imaginary scenario. So just close your eyes and imagine you're getting home from, you're on your way home from work. If you normally work at home, well, on this particular occasion, you went into the office or you were somewhere outside of home for work. And you just missed the bus on the way home. And that's a shame because you promised your partner that you'd be home at 7 o'clock and now you're going to be late. Okay, so you're rushing home and you try to find another way to get home, and you get on your phone and you try to book an Uber. The next Uber is 20 minutes away. So that's not going to work. You jump on the bus then and just decide, okay, well, I'm going to have to be late. And you catch the bus home. You finally get home. You go to open the door, but you realize the door's already open. Why is my door open? And then you notice that your pet has run out. You don't know where your pet is. You start panicking. And then you think, okay, well, I'll have to figure out what to do, but all right, I'm starving, so let me just get something to eat. And you go to the fridge and there is nothing in the fridge. Like, you haven't done the shopping, there's nothing left in the fridge. Oh, then you think, okay, well, I'll just order something so I at least have something to eat. And you go to order food from your local restaurant and you put the order through and then your credit card's declined. What? I thought there was money in there. You look up your bank account balance and there's been a big expense that's come out. You didn't even realize that was due. Oh, all right. Now open your eyes. And I just want you to all just check, let me know, what did you experience in your body as we were running through that scenario?
The definite tightness that happens across the chest.
Yeah, definite tightness. Yeah, great. There you go. Yeah. Anyone else?
I have to admit, I was getting a bit, I was getting solution orientated as you were doing. I would have messaged the partner. I don't know if there wouldn't have been any food. I was making it sort of more realistic to where I would be. I'd be out looking for the pet. My hunger would go out the window. But I did feel it in my gut a little bit. And I actually thought, God, this is too exhausting. I don't think I can manage this one. So
yeah, right.
Not too much. So I think, yeah, and it was more in the center for me to go, oh gosh, no, that's a bit much. Okay, that's probably what I did, yeah.
Yeah, but you did feel it in your gut.
Okay. Bit of tension there, yeah.
Bit of tension there, yeah. Yeah. So anyone else?
Shallow breathing.
Shallow breathing. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. So the point of that exercise is to notice how through thought alone, because that wasn't real, that did not happen, through thought alone, you can create stress in the body, right? Like, really notice that. Notice how your breathing changed. Notice how the muscles tightened, the sensations in the stomach. Notice those things. Because when we're thinking and we're thinking about things that might go wrong or what someone thinks about us, or, like when we're constructing these scenarios in our mind, which is actually what we do most of the time, then we create stress in our system, even though the situation is not real, right? Because that wasn't real. I was just making up some stuff, right? So thoughts affect your body and your nervous system, and that affects your sleep directly. Okay, so now we're going to shake that off and kind of do the opposite. I want to leave you with a nice experience and help you to understand how your mind can also have a positive impact on your body. So just close your eyes again, and similar day, you've left work, wherever you were working at, and you're on your way home, and you get on the bus, everything runs smoothly, you get off, you walk to your home, and sitting at your doorstep is a bunch of roses. And you pick them up and you read the note. Oh, and it's from someone very special in your life. And you can read in the note that you are appreciated. Doesn't that feel good to feel appreciated? And then you walk in the door with a smile on your face, and you walk towards the kitchen. You're pretty hungry. And then you notice there's a beautiful meal laid out on the table. Someone's made you dinner. And it's just gorgeous candlelights and a nice scent in the air. And you're there with a loved one, and you sit down and you enjoy a beautiful meal. And then during the meal, you'd think, oh, hang on, I've just got to check, did I pay this bill? And you jump on your phone, you do get into your internet banking. Oh, and you've had a surprise deposit in there. You weren't expecting that. You've got some nice spending money. Ah, what a beautiful evening. All right, and just open your eyes. And I just want you to notice what happened in your body then. I know, Gabrielle, you're probably saying, no, I thought something different, more realistic.
Well, actually, no, I thought, come on, Gabrielle, throw yourself into it. No, I feel very relaxed, very light, and very happy. I smiled through the whole thing. It was lovely.
Oh, okay, beautiful. Yeah. Kelly, how did you go?
My shoulders dropped.
Yeah, nice. Who else is here? Elina, Adrian, Maria, George, Eva, Millie, Andrew. Anyone else?
For me, just a sense of ease. It was easy.
Yeah, sense of ease. Okay. So again, that situation did not happen. It's just through thought alone that we affected our bodies and our nervous system. So can you imagine during the day, if you're thinking thoughts that serve you, you're going to have more of a relaxed state in your body. If you're thinking thoughts that don't serve you, you're going to get wired, your breathing will speed up, and your muscles will tense up, your posture might curve over, and so your nervous system will be affected. That's why thoughts are so important to the way they have such a big impact on our sleep, because they really affect our nervous system. So I would encourage you to ask yourself, what are your patterns of thinking, and how do they affect your sleep? All right, so I've got here. So what did you learn from the exercise? Yeah. The situations weren't real. You changed your body and your nervous system by thought alone. So thought alone affects our state. Yeah, so what are your thought patterns? Do you know what they are? Do you do worst case scenario? Do you do best case scenario? You get too excited to sleep. Do you do a lot of thinking about the future or what other people think of you? What are your patterns? So you might just want to reflect on that. And how do your thoughts affect your nervous system? Are you a perfectionist? Do you always feel you haven't done a good enough job and you've got to get everything right, and that affects you? You know, what are your patterns? And so I say, I encourage you to do a little test. And that test, so to have something a bit more general, if the thoughts that you're having aren't putting a smile on your face, then probably they're not thoughts that serve you. So when you're especially when you're in bed, but during the day as well, if the thoughts you're having don't pass the smile test, then it's really important that you change them, because that will impact your sleep a lot. Okay, so that's the power of the mind and the effect it has on the nervous system. Obviously, we can't talk about everything tonight that affects your sleep, but I wanted to kind of go into that in a bit of detail with you so you can really get it. The other thing I wanted to share with you in particular tonight are some sleep strategies. So if you can't sleep, what do you do? And so we'll just do a couple of exercises with this as well. I wanted it to be an experiential night tonight. So if you can't sleep, what do? Do you just lie there and think? Like a lot of people, that's what most people do. Do you just lie there and think, or do you have a technique or a strategy that you use to help you to get to sleep or go back to sleep? So I've got a few suggestions here. Use what works for you, but here are some that I like to share with people. So one thing that you can do is actually just put a hint of a smile on your face, and you can bring up something for you that creates gratitude and the feeling of gratitude. And when I talk about gratitude, it's not thinking gratitude. So you can think, oh, I'm thankful or grateful for this or that. That's not the same as actually feeling gratitude and feeling it in your heart. When you feel it in your heart, you create heart-brain coherence, and that slows your whole system down and helps you to fall asleep. So don't think it, but feel it. So gratitude's a great practice. The body, we talked about the body, the breathing, the posture, and muscle tension. So if you're lying there in bed, check in what is happening with your breathing, your muscle tension, and your posture, and really practice slowing your breathing down, opening your posture up, and relaxing your muscles. I often say to people, your job in bed is not to sleep. If you put pressure on yourself to sleep, it's the worst thing you can do. Your job in bed is to relax as deeply as possible. When you relax as deeply as possible, it optimizes your chances of sleeping. We can't control sleep, but we can control how deeply we relax. So really work on slowing your breathing down, dropping it down, and deepening it. Okay. So I've kind of mentioned that already. So, and also doing rhythmic breathing really helps. So I say, don't count sheep, but count your breathing. So you can count, like, for example, you might count 5 in and 5 out, and 5 in and 5 out, or whatever your rhythm is that feels good to you. But rhythmic breathing, again, the effect that it has on our brain waves and certain body functions, it really helps us to come into coherence and start to make it easier to sleep. Breathing's really, really important. Okay. Another strategy that I encourage people to use is to feel their feet. Why this? It may sound strange, but if it works for you, great, go for it. So the feet is the furthest part of the body part, which is the furthest away from our minds. So if you take your attention, your energy down to your feet, you're kind of really moving it away from your brain and that racing mind, to the furthest part of your body. And you can sort of go through, each toe and really feel the different parts of your feet. Some people like that, some don't. Use what works for you. You can focus on relaxing your facial muscles. Now, why the face? So our face is highly connected to our nervous system. It comes from when you're a little baby and your mother's holding you and she's staring at you and you're looking at her face. And so we really start to attune to people's face, and so there's a high connection between the muscles in the face and our nervous system. So when you work on relaxing the muscles in your face, you really relax your nervous system. So you can go through and relax all the muscles in the face. And I might take you through that in a moment so you can experience it. The other thing you can do is, if you have a really busy mind, is to make up a story in your mind. So if you can't stop thinking, if you can't switch off your busy mind, use your mind to make up a story. So you basically then move into the right hemisphere of the brain when you're being creative, and that helps you to shift into the parasympathetic nervous system. So making up a story, like when you're a child and your parents used to read you a bedtime story. Why do we stop doing that as adults? Going into the imagination, it's going inside. That's what happens when we go to bed, we go to sleep, we go inside. So we move from the external world to the internal world. So you can make up a story. For example, the next episode of your favorite TV show, or a sequel to one of your favorite movies, or a favorite novel, or something that you enjoy, but it's not too stimulating. But it uses your imaginary senses. So they're just some examples, and I encourage everyone to have a technique ready so that if you have a bad night or if you need to go back to sleep, because there's a lot of people here who wake up during the night, don't just lie there and think, right? So actually have a technique to use to help you to go back to sleep, and try and find one that works for you. So so have a technique, make sure whatever you do passes the smile test, and shift from your, if you can, shift from your mind to your body. Even if you're making up a television show or something in your mind, you can pretend that you're one of the people in the show and you like experience it, have a full body experience as if you're there. So you're going into the internal senses. Again, going from that external world to the internal world. I hope that made sense. So I'd like to just go through an example with you of a sleep technique. So you can basically experience what it's like when you practice one of these techniques. So we might do relaxing of the facial muscles. I'll throw a few together, a bit of a smile, and slowing your breathing. We'll do those together. So if you can, again, just close your eyes, and we'll just take a couple of minutes to go through a sleep relaxation. Try not to fall asleep right yet, but but I just want you to experience it. Often people start to yawn when I do this, and it's like, this is what happens when you start to relax. You get sleepy. It's another sign that actually when we relax, we sleep, right? Okay, so if you can just close your eyes. And I encourage you all to take in a nice, big, deep breath. And breathe out. And a nice, big, deep breath in. And breathe out. And just continue to slow your breathing down and drop your breathing down. Allow your breath to drop towards your belly area. And with each breath, allow your breathing to slow down even more. Allow your breathing to drop down further and further towards your belly area. And allow each breath to be slower and deeper. And as you breathe slower and deeper, take your awareness inside your body. And we'll just begin to relax your body. So right now, take your attention to your scalp area and become aware of the sensations in your scalp. And allow your scalp to soften and relax. And now take your awareness to the muscles in your facial area. And allow all the little muscles in your face to soften and relax. Allow your forehead to soften and relax. Allow your eyes, the muscles around your eyes, to soften and relax. Allow the muscles in your cheek area to soften, relax, melt, go limp. Take your awareness to your jaw, the muscles around your jaw, and allow your jaw to soften and relax, melt, go limp. Take your awareness to your tongue and allow your tongue to soften and relax, melt, go limp. Now drop your attention down into your neck and throat area and allow your neck and throat to soften and relax, melt, go limp. Now take your awareness to your shoulder area. Notice any sensations in your shoulders and allow your shoulders to soften and relax, melt, go limp. Now drop your attention down to your upper torso, your chest, your upper back, and allow this area to soften and relax, melt, go limp. Now drop your attention down to your lower torso, your internal organs, your lower back. Notice any sensations in this area. Feel what you feel, sense what you sense, and allow this area to soften and relax, melt, go limp. Now drop your attention down to your hip area and allow your hips, your pelvis, your buttocks to soften and relax, melt, go limp. Now feel the whole of the upper half of your body relax. Feel the whole of the upper half of your body melting, going limp as you relax deeper and deeper and even deeper. Now drop your awareness down to your upper legs and allow your upper legs to soften and relax, melt, go limp. Drop your attention down to your lower legs. Notice any sensations in your lower legs and allow your lower legs to soften, relax, melt, go limp. And finally, take your awareness down to your feet and toes. Notice any sensations in your feet and allow your feet to soften and relax, melt, go limp. Now feel your whole body relax. Feel your whole body softening. Feel your whole body melting, going limp as you relax deeper and deeper and even deeper. As your breathing slows down and drops down. And again, relax deeper and deeper and even deeper. Feeling soft, relaxed, and calm. And then when you're ready, take your time. And you can, when you're ready, gradually open your eyes. So, did you manage to relax during that? Any feedback?
I'm ready for bed.
Yeah. It's dangerous.
Yeah, it is. I
Hard to
think
come back from.
I think I might have even dozed off at one point. It was lovely.
Lovely. I think I just, yes, we'll just take you with us every night.
Yes.
In fact, my 10-year-old has a hard time going to sleep, and so every night she wants me to put her to bed, and I have a variation on those relaxation techniques, and I run through them with her each night.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, it just shows you the more relaxed we are, the better we sleep. You know, it's actually not that complicated, but we forget how to relax. So coming into the body, coming into slowing the breathing down, relaxing the muscles, can be really helpful. So if you wake up during the night, you know, like really just start to practice techniques like this. But also, the more you relax during the day, the less you'll wake up at nighttime. Because what happens if our nervous system's quite wired, it means between the sleep cycles, we're more likely to wake up. But if we're relaxed, we won't wake up between the sleep cycles. So that's usually why people don't sleep through the night. There can be other reasons, but that's by far the most common reason. So really work on your nervous system to bring your nervous system into more balance, so you can sleep more easily and sleep through the night. So my question's for you. What do you do to stop yourself from sleeping? And can you remember that it's a quality day that creates a quality night? And bring in awareness of your mind and your body and your nervous system. You know, check in with your body during the day. How am I breathing? Why am I breathing high and fast? Yeah, am I stressed or am I relaxed? Change your thoughts to ones that serve you. So become, and I say go south, so drop into your body, become good friends with your breathing, become good friends with your body. That's just where you can contact me if you want any more information. I think I've got on my website a free 7 Sleep Secrets book. I run sleep courses and that kind of thing if anyone wants more help with their sleep. But really, I wanted to now just focus on questions and oops, I think that's it. Yeah, let me just stop sharing that. Oh.
Wow, beautiful. I'm just going to go to gallery so we can see everyone and the messages coming through. That was amazing. I just, you know, a few things came to me while you were doing that presentation, Elina. Is like, we really don't tell the truth to ourselves a lot of the time about how stressed we actually are. We think that we're coping. We think that on the outside, you know, we're dealing with it, we're keeping it together, but really it's all happening on the inside. So you've just unmasked all of us. We're just out there now. Everyone's and then the other thing that I rely on a lot is my tapping app. And that has a number of different sleep tapping that hits like a specific, like, are you thinking too much about tomorrow, or about something that happened today, or about the conversation that you had, or maybe it's just an empowering sleep practice that's like becoming more playful and fun, you know, that kind of.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. So anything that helps to relax you will be good for sleep. Yeah. Whether it's spending time in nature, listening to yourself more rather than worrying about what everyone else thinks about you. Whether it's taking some time out to have a few deep breaths. Yeah,
beautiful.
So there are a couple of comments at the beginning I just want to address, which were Gabrielle, you mentioned going to the bathroom and drinking fluids. So a couple of comments on that. I would ask you, do you need to drink those fluids before bed? So 2 hours before bed, I would say really try to minimize fluids. Do you need to be drinking?
Good question. So the magnesium maybe, because it's mixed in water. I like to have that at night. The sleepy time tea I've gotten into, because I just found it's got valerian root in it, and I just have a better sleep. And I only do it in a small cup, but because I do drink a little bit of water throughout the day, I tend to ease off in the evening. The other drink is a protein powder I have before I go to bed, because it's a protein snack. I do a high protein, it's not keto, but a high protein diet. I could swap it out for another type of snack maybe and have that earlier in the day. I have thought about that. Yeah, because it's usually about 2 hours into my sleep, I've got to go to the loo. Sometimes during the night, it'll be about another 4 hours in, or a couple of hours, and then I sleep the rest of it. Just depends.
Yeah, and it's, you know, like I'd encourage you to weigh up the costs and the benefits of that, because some of those fluids you may find a benefit from, but is it worth disrupting some of the most beneficial hours of your sleep? The first 3 hours, we get the most deep sleep of the night. So you're actually breaking that, right? There is a cost to it. So just, you know, I would encourage you to weigh that up.
Okay.
If you can cut back on the fluids.
Yeah. I've done that all my life. I feel like all my adult life that's happened. Not that I've had that routine, but I just feel that I've always woken up to go to the loo, because I drink a lot of water. I do like minimum 2, sometimes 2 to 3 liters. So I do try and cut that back to at least the 2.5. So, and not so much in the evening. But yeah, I will have a lot because I value my sleep very much. I did night duty for 7 years as a nurse, and I do value my sleep now very much.
Yeah. And the other thing, just to consider around going to the bathroom, so it may legitimately be that you're taking in a lot of fluids. The other thing just to be aware of is that often people go to the bathroom a number of times because the nervous system's imbalanced. So it's like, for example, and I'm not saying this is you at all, but it may relate to other people here. Say, for example, you're about to do a presentation, like someone will say, oh, I nearly peed my pants, right? So like that expression actually comes from people will urinate more when they're sort of nervous or anxious.
Maybe.
So, you know, I work with a lot of people who will go to the bathroom several times at night, and when they bring their nervous system into balance, they don't go to the bathroom at all during the night.
No, that could be a possibility for me too. All right, I'll have a look at that. Thank you.
Pleasure.
I might add to that too. Sometimes if you're drinking a lot, do you find that you're still thirsty?
Not always. Sometimes, but not always. Why? What do you think?
Well, if you're absorbing, so if you're drinking a lot of water, you know, people don't absorb water, and they feel like they're taking in a lot of water, but they're just peeing it all out. And we need to make sure that the water has a good electrolyte balance in it as well. So
good point. Yeah.
Great point. Yeah, that's so important. Yeah, good one, Kelly. I like that.
To think about. Thank you. I'll look at all that.
The comment about the sleep being in the family. Yeah, so poor sleep being in the family. So often I find, and just bring that up now because we've run through the presentation, but often what I find is that, for example, the patterns you'll see in families of poor sleepers is they might all be worriers, or, you know, they might all like have a level of anxiety. So it's that pattern that then affects the sleep, as opposed to you've got a gene that affects your sleep or something like that, you know. Don't disempower yourself. We can always fix our sleep. So yeah, it's really other patterns that will affect your sleep, and they are within your control if you're willing to look at them. Yeah, was there a question? Do you have? Oh,
hi, Elina. I was wondering, in your practice, do you ever consider natural food chemicals like salicylates, amines, and glutamate?
Yeah. That's very specific. Where's that question coming from? I mean, look, it's definitely important to have all of the physical components that like the precursors to melatonin, and, you know, have magnesium to relax your muscles. Those kinds of things are all really important. So I encourage that. However, you can take all the supplements in the world, and if your nervous system is out of balance, you will burn through those supplements that would normally regulate your nervous system. You know, your vitamin Bs, your magnesium. So yes, absolutely agree that there's certain supplements that are important, but I see this time and time again, it's just not enough if someone's nervous system is out of balance. Does that make sense?
Kind of. Like I've really got a lot out of the presentation, and it's reminded me to go back to regulating the nervous system. So I'm really glad I watched tonight. But salicylates, amines, and glutamate are not supplements. They're naturally occurring food chemicals in the food that we eat, and there's potential for disruptions to the nervous system as the body struggles to assimilate them and break them down if they accumulate.
Sure.
And just for me in my own journey with sleep, it's just been incredibly helpful to stay away from certain food triggers before bed, and just obviously having things that really can keep me up the entire night that I can directly correlate to food. But also, you know, there are definitely, you know, emotional and psychological aspects to it. You can't just correlate everything to food and be scared of food, but definitely like the high salicylate foods before bed is something that can keep me up all night, unless I lean on the pharmaceutical industry and get some sleep that way. But that's not the best sleep. But I just thought I'd mention that.
Can I jump in on that one? Because the little bit that I do know about salicylates is that they are occurring in regular fruits and vegetables that we find, and you can't avoid them if you're eating those foods. But certain people are allergic to those salicylates, and so they could have a reaction, but mostly it might be a reaction on the skin. I haven't obviously, if it's on the skin, there's more going down deeper down. And if you are one of those people that are sensitive to those foods, then you probably have done some kind of test to find out. And it looks like you're probably a bodybuilder as well. So the glutathione that's will come into your sphere when you're working out, and you're probably very conscious about what you're eating and what's in everything that you're eating. But I like what you said about not being afraid of food, knowing everything in balance, because our gut is our second brain, and all the moods and the patterns and things come from our gut. And so having that really good gut flora going on does assist in that. And
absolutely.
Eating.
We make most of our serotonin in our gut. And so that, has a massive impact on our mood. And also when the sun goes down, that's when our serotonin turns into melatonin. So our gut's so important because it's all of that is interlinked. And I guess when I talk about stress, so a lot of stress is mental or emotional, but it's also physical. So if you have a food allergy, that is going to put stress on your system. So, I totally agree with all of that. And it's about knowing what your stresses are. Thanks for that.
Comment. Thanks, Adrian.
Thanks, Elina. Thank you.
Oh, pleasure.
Could I add another thing? Like about, I noticed getting close to a full moon that I have problems sleeping. And I was just wondering, because I've, parasites as well tend to be quite active if you've got parasites, and I think a lot of people do, but they could also affect our sleeping patterns as well. So anyway, I just thought I'd add that.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know how I've never watched the moon. I know there's a lot of moon watchers and people, that those patterns. So what do you notice when it's a full moon, Eva?
Well, no, I just tend to be more how do I say this, more tense, not wanting to sleep, I'm more active, just don't seem to want to sleep.
Your inner child wants to come out and play.
Maybe. But I believe it's to do with parasites, and that the parasites, like they say, the lunatics come out during a full moon, lunatics, and that could be related to the fact that our parasites, maybe just become more active around then.
That'd be something to look into.
Yeah, some of my clients share that perspective as well, and they experience the same thing. And I'm a big believer in detoxification and, obviously ridding yourself of parasites and working through all of that on a physical level, because obviously all of that helps you sleep as well. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, great comments, everyone. Beautiful. Well, any other comments before we wrap up tonight? So good.
I've got a question about exercising late at night. Is that a good idea or a bad idea to exercise? Like if you go for a walk after dinner?
If it's gentle exercise, it's okay. But if it raises your core body temperature too much, then that will, or usually does, affect sleep. So you wouldn't want to do vigorous exercise sort of 2-3 hours before bed. But something gentle is fine. And really, again, the test is, does it relax you? If you go for a gentle walk before bed and it relaxes you, then I would say that could be helpful for sleep. But if it's something vigorous, typically it's it will work against sleep?
Great question.
Great question.
Yeah, I have been tempted to want to, you know, do some exercise at night. And I went, no, this is not the time of the day for that.
Yeah.
So good. Anyone want to say what you got out of tonight the most? Something that was an aha moment for you?
Yeah, the Mythbusters. There were some things there that I went, because I read recently, because it is something I'm interested in, and I read it on sleeping, and it talked about bed is for sleeping. If you're not sleeping, get out of bed and make sure that your mind knows that's what you've got to do. And so and the TV, all those little things you think, but because some of them never bothered me, and I'm thinking, how come that's like not meant to happen? It's just really interesting. So I really like that. The myth busting thing was really good. Yeah, I took notes on those. Thank you.
That's great. That's great feedback too. Yes, Maria, did you want to say something?
I was just going to say, yes, it just all made sense, and I can certainly see the pattern of waking up in the night attributes to being very busy in the mind. You know, I've got busier over these last few years, so yeah, being able to relax a lot more and address the nervous system will be the key for me.
Yeah, and keep coming into the body. When you're present in your body, you're not as busy in your mind. It's so important to retrain ourselves to keep on coming back into have awareness in the body and be present with the sensations of the body. I know that can sound like mumbo jumbo to some people when they're really detached from their body, but you know, if you don't get what I'm saying, probably that means I'm not talking to you I'm not talking to you, but just in general, if that doesn't resonate with you, it's probably because you are very disconnected from your body. So, you know, it's like right now, are you aware of what the sensations are in your body? And if you're not, you probably are disconnected from your body. We relax through our body, not through our mind. So that's why it's so important to be connected to your body. And also, you only know what's going on in your nervous system if you're connected to your body and aware and attuned to your body. If you're not, if you're just in your mind, you won't know what's going on in your nervous system. So it's really, really important. So yeah, so thank you for sharing that, because yeah, it's another reminder, keep on dropping into the body.
So good. Adrian, did you have a comment do you want to make?
I just wanted to say it's refreshing to hear a presentation on sleep that basically doesn't try and offer an external fix. It's all within, and yeah, that's difficult to do, I guess, or for me anyway. You tend to gravitate towards external fixes and quick fixes, and this is really an internal process. So yeah, it's really refreshing to hear.
Oh, nice. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's perfect for self-reliance, isn't it?
Yeah, good one, Kelly. It is. Yeah, it's all within us. Yeah. And it's interesting that today people have so much of a struggle with sleep, because really sleep is about going within. And that is a big struggle in our society at large today. So, you know, the more you reconnect to yourself, the better you'll sleep.
Beautiful. Andrew said, great talk. Thanks, Elina. Thank you for making tonight happen. My sleep quality is more related to back pain and tense neck. Yeah, that's a thing to talk about.
Yeah. So yeah, pain, that's a whole big area. Obviously make sure you have a mattress that really supports your spine as much as possible. That's and obviously make sure you've got a pillow that's the correct height. So if you're a side sleeper, you want it to be the distance between your shoulder and your neck. I'd really encourage you to look into pain solutions. So that could be anything from, I'm more into all the natural solutions. What do you call those devices?
EMF.
Yeah.
Machine?
Sorry?
TENS machine?
Yeah, TENS machine, those kinds of things, TENS machines. What's that?
Having acupuncture.
Yeah, acupuncture.
That helping.
Yeah. Oh, there's a whole lot just not coming to my mind right now, but happy to speak offline about that if you want some more solutions around pain. It's a really difficult one, I know.
And then the other question is how long to sleep for? Should we be sleeping? If I'm sleeping 6 hours, am I not really giving myself enough sleep?
Yeah, this is another area where there's a lot of myths. Like people believe that as they're older, like as with time or with age, we should sleep less. It's not true. So really everyone should be getting between 7.5 to 8.5 hours sleep. And it's not just the number of hours, it's also the quality of your sleep. So if you're sleeping lightly during that time, then that's not ideal either. So you want to make sure you're getting enough deep sleep during that 7.5 to 8.5 hours. And this is what keeps us young. Our sleep keeps us young. It's our healing time. And again, I think this group will be very well aware of how important it is to detoxify in today's environment. We all know why. So sleep is the time that you do that. So your sleep is so, so important. Detoxifying enough. If you're not getting deep sleep, you're not detoxifying enough. So 7.5 to 8.5 hours of quality sleep.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, thank you everyone for coming on tonight. I'm sure you really got something out of that, and thank you for sharing and participating. It's really lovely. We often just let the speaker speak and we don't all jump in, but it's lovely to have everyone sharing this gorgeous environment. And thank you so much, Elina, for your heart and your time and your expertise. Yeah, it's amazing, and we really appreciate you being here. Send you some flowers. So right before I head off and help my daughter have her bedtime routine before I go do my own, I just want to remind everyone to jump on next week for our EMF expert who's going to share with us all about Cameron Maxwell, who's going to show us about how to use our Orgonite, and then our last event for the year about wrapping up the year. So, and then we'll have some news as to what 2024 will look like in My Self-Reliance. So, and we'll unveil the video from the festival. So stay tuned for that. So thanks again, everyone, for coming on. Be sure to drop your email in if you're not on my email list, and we'll stay in touch that way over Christmas as well. Thanks, Elina.
Bye, everyone.